Greetings of peace, peeps. This is yours truly, Bionic Anseng Francis Coleman, and today we are going to talk about my top 10 greatest Suikoden moments in all the Suikoden games. You know, this underrated RPG should have been released also in the PlayStation 4 and in this new generation console, PlayStation 5. But right now, me and some of the Suikoden fans, loyal Suikoden fans, are still waiting for any updates of the future of this great franchise. Spoiler alert for those of you who have not played this game, and I will just ask you why. Some of these moments here are important events in the games from Suikoden 1 to Suikoden 5. Okay? And I would like to note that I had an article which was published in Konami UK. Just type top 10 favorite Suikoden moments in Facebook and there you will see my article, and it was published by Konami UK back then in 2014. Now, let's go on with the top 10. Top 10. The escape from the Kingdom of Obel. This is one of my favorite moments in Suikoden because it's the debut of the moving base of Suikoden. You know, the first 3 games of Suikoden has your home base, a castle, a fort, or a mansion. But in Suikoden 4, it's a large ship that is hidden behind the boulders of the Kingdom of Obel. So the preparation of the escape to Kingdom of Obel was exciting because the first fleet of the main antagonist, the Kuluk Empire, was about to attack the Kingdom of Obel. So Laszlo was tasked to recruit as many of the villagers in the Kingdom of Obel to join the ship, and we also recruited the Dr. Yu and some other residents of the Kingdom of Obel. So it's the debut of the ship and the excitement within it which makes it my top 10 favorite moments in Suikoden games. And of course, who will forget the funny antics of Setsu in trying to distract the first fleet of the Kuluk from the discovery of the hidden ship. You know, as you can see, Setsu with his funny antics, even the Kuluk soldiers were laughing at his antics. Okay, so number 9 is the death of Odessa Silverberg. I played Suikoden 2 before Suikoden 1. Yeah, back then in the year 2000 I was introduced to this great game, Suikoden 2. And in Suikoden 2, I saw one of the main protagonists, Flake the Blue Lightning, has his conversation with Nina on top of the castle. And they were talking about Odessa Silverberg. So I thought to myself, well, that's Flake's girlfriend, so what happened to her? So in the span of Suikoden 2, I realized that Odessa Silverberg already died. So when I played Suikoden 1 back then in 2003, I then observed firsthand the death of Odessa Silverberg, and she was killed because a spy has infiltrated the Liberation Army. So it is my favorite not because of the death of Odessa Silverberg, but because the leadership was entrusted to Tyr McDowell, the main protagonist of Suikoden 1, and because of the importance of Odessa Silverberg in my discovery of the Suikoden lore. Because as I've said, I played Suikoden 2 first before Suikoden 1. So yes, it is an important event in Suikoden history which will really change the landscape in the island, in the Tauran Liberation War. Okay, number 8, the discovery of the Don Rune in Barrow's Mansion, Suikoden 5. Yes, now the Civil War in Suikoden 5 was brought about by the rebellion of the Godwin faction to the first royal family. However, I think 2 to 3 years prior to that, who would have known that the Varus faction, the other powerful family in the Kingdom of Alina, has already started the rebellion by stealing the Don Rune. And the discovery of the Don Rune in the mansion of Salum Barrows, together with the investigation of the Oboro Detective Agency, really was exciting, and it really registered in my mind until now because of the suspense and the discovery of the Don Rune. We also saw the prince go one-on-one with the room keeper, Chuck. They had a good one-on-one fight, and of course, it was also in that discovery that the Kingdom of Armes was trying to plot with Salum Barrows. So a lot of things are happening in Suikoden 5 that is really great. That is why I believe Suikoden 5 has been awarded back in 2006 one of the best stories in the role-playing game. It is just a shame that up to now Konami has not installed another main Suikoden 6. So number 7, the betrayal of Sanchez in the floating fortress of Sasaraced, Suikoden 1. As I've said before, I've played Suikoden 2 before Suikoden 1, and I've saw Flick with his conversation with Nina on top of the headquarters in Suikoden 2, and I told myself, okay, Flick had a girlfriend before Odessa in Suikoden 1. Now, in the number 9, we saw Odessa Silverberg died because of a spy that infiltrated the Liberation Army. Now, this moment was on the floating fortress of Sasaraced that Sanchez himself has emerged as the hidden spy of the Scarlet Moon Empire in the Tauran Liberation Army. And of course, Flick, enraged because of the death of Odessa, really was about to kill Sanchez. I mean, who would have thought that Sanchez, the guy who's this peaceful guy who advocates for peace for the last couple of hours in Suikoden 1, if you have played it, who would have thought that he was the one who was the spy? So he was the one who's offering me tea whenever I tried to change my party. So I was really surprised that he was the spy. And of course, I was rooting for Flick, Okay, Flick, a justice should be done. Odessa was killed because of Sanchez. So, you go and avenge your girlfriend. However, Matthew Silverberg, the great Matthew Silverberg, although he was mortally wounded by Sanchez, implored Flick not to exact justice on that time because the morale of the Liberation Army will plummet. I mean, that's one great strategy, and he is right, 100% right. If the Liberation Army found out that Sanchez, one of the leaders of the Tauran Liberation Army, was secretly a spy, it will derail their march towards the capital, Greg Minister. So this is a very good moment in Suikoden for me because finally I've learned that this guy Sanchez was the one responsible for the death of Odessa Silverberg. Number 2 is because of Matthew Silverberg's genius and commitment to the Liberation Army. Number 6 is Victor's trash talk against Necklord in the Tinto Mansion, Suikoden 2. Victor has a real bad blood against Necklord because Necklord has attacked his village back in the events of Suikoden 1, not within the game of Suikoden 1, but during the events of the game of Suikoden 1. It was then that Necklord attacked the North Window Castle and killed a lot of Victor's relatives, including I think his wife or girlfriend Daisy. So, you know, revenge is coming for Necklord. But the thing that really is great about this moment is the trash talk of Victor before he killed Necklord, which will be seen in this video. And you know, it's funny because Victor had said all the things that he will do to Necklord, and in the end he will just said that I'll never ever forgive you. So that's funny, but you know, this is a memorable moment for the Suikoden series, and good for Victor that he finally avenged the death of his relatives and friends. Number 5 is cyanides betrayal in the Queen's campaign, Suikoden 5. Now, during the game, I already know that something's wrong with cyanides, but I've never expected that she would have betrayed his nephew and niece and sided with Godwin. So, during the game, I was thinking, okay, what could be the motives of cyanides? You know, I've talked to some of her closest companions, including Kyle, of course, Kyle. And, you know, it appeared that the strategies of the Prince Army, Lucretia Merces, have already known what cyanides was trying to accomplish. But even so, during that campaign, I was surprised, and the reason why it's my favorite, it's because of the Suikoden 5 cinematography where Miyake's attack Dolph. So I said, wow, I think that's the first time I saw a combat cinematography from Suikoden. So they could have just done it more. You know, that's a very great cinematographic fighting scene. So that is one of the favorite and memorable moments in Suikoden 5 for me. And you know, in the end, if you will just know what cyanides was trying to accomplish, and you will understand why she had to do it. Okay, number 4, the Two River City battle versus the forces of Kiba. Yes, in Suikoden 2, the unity of races between the kobold, those dogs, the wingers, and the humans were on display when they battled Kiba at Two River. It's also pointed to the resiliency of our main protagonist Ryu, and of course the brilliant tactician of Kiba and his son Klaus, who are honorable, by the way, in their fight. But prior to that fight, they did try to, you know, mislead Matt, the leader of Two River City. So this is my favorite moment, considering the unity of the races in the Two River City, and if that city can achieve unity of all the races, why not here in this world, right? So that's my favorite. That is why that is one of my favorite moments in the Suikoden universe. Number 3 is the event that happened in the Sun Palace siege, the death of Ferid and Archstadt Falinas. Now, it's a coup d'etat in the Suikoden 5. Yes, and of course, just for a brief history, in Suikoden 2, which happened, I believe, 10 years after the events of Suikoden 5, in Richmond's investigation, if you look at George Prime's secrets, it is said that George Prime had killed the Queen of Palina. So in Suikoden 5, when I look at George Prime, wow, this is the younger version of George Prime. So I guess these are the events that happened in the Kingdom of Palina which led to the death of the Queen. And yes, this number 3 on the spot explained why George had to kill the Queen of the Kingdom of Palina, because if he hadn't, I believe half of the Kingdom of Palina would have been destroyed because the Queen's use of the Sun Rune. And of course, it is unfortunate that Ferid, the commander of the Queen's Knight, perished along the process. It is one of the best moments in Suikoden because, as I've said, there's also this cinematography, that a 5-minute cinematography of Suikoden 5. I think that's the longest cinematography on Suikoden 5 universe. So it is also cool that we have seen Kylie, who is a character in Suikoden 2, had his participation in the Sun Palace siege. Okay, so that's it. That's one of the memorable moments in Suikoden 5 history. The number 2 is the sacrifice of Gremio Suikoden 1. Now, faithful is the understatement of what he did back in Suikoden 1 when he saved Tyr Makdol from the man-eating spores in the Sonyer prison. You see, Milich Oppenheimer was being controlled by Wendy with his Black Rune, tried to kill Tyr Makdol, Victor, and the others by unleashing a man-eating spores. So, in order to save Tyr Makdol, Gremio locked himself from the inside the room where the man-eating spores grow. So, the result of which is a painful death for Gremio, and is a reminder to Tyr Makdol that he has to look for himself from that point on, because his faithful servant already died heroically. I don't know about you peeps, but if you have completed the 108 Stars of Destiny, Gremio will be revived. So, I truly believe that he deserved to be revived more than anyone in the game because of his sacrifice. Okay, now to the number 1 event, memorable event in Suikoden for me, is the death of Luca Blight. You know, in the Final Fantasy universe, you got Sephiroth, who's the ultimate bad guy. Now, Luca Blight is the Sephiroth of the Suikoden universe. I think all of us will agree before. Yes. Luca Blight is a bad MF. That's what I'm going to say. And that's another statement. He has said to, when he massacred the citizens of Ryube village, this act like a pig and die pig, and he's the epitome of evil in the Suikoden world. So, as you can see in the video, okay, it took hundreds to kill Luca Blight, but he killed by the 1,000. And that's his motto. He was clearly unstoppable, and it took a tip, an informant on the inside, just to ambush Luca Blight in the forest during night, because if there was no ambush, I truly believe that the army of Ryu and Shu would have been obliterated by Luca Blight. So that is my top 10 favorite moments in Suikoden, the Suikoden universe. Okay, now I will welcome everyone in the comment section to comment as to what are their top 10 moments in the Suikoden games. And if you like this channel, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bionic Anseng, and click that notification bell so you will be updated to my latest game analysis, reaction videos to the trailer of the games, live stream, and uploads to those games that I've been using for trophy hunting. Okay, thank you everyone, God bless, and stay safe out there.